Hello and welcome to the video. Have you ever had writer's block? Me too, and I absolutely hate it. So here are 5 practical ways that you can use to get out of the rut and to generate new song ideas. Let's get started. Hiya, my name's Jonathan and I'm a part-time songwriter and music producer. My channel is dedicated to helping you become a better songwriter and music producer by providing you with practical ways that you can use to increase the quality of the music that you release. If you think that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then please hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when I upload a new video. Now, let's get back to the songwriting. Okay, so tip number 1 is make sure you listen to your favourite musicians and songs before you start the session. I think, to be honest, we've all done this where we've sat down in front of a page and we've just not been in the right headspace to start writing. But I think one of the best things you can do in order to prepare yourself for a writing session is to listen to a couple of your favourite albums, to listen to a few of your favourite musicians, your favourite songs, because at the end of the day, I think that's probably what inspired you to write music in the first place, isn't it? Like, by listening to people who you really enjoy listening to and thinking, yeah, I can do something like that. What inspired you to write music in the first place? Do that, listen to those artists. And I think, to be honest, that can be quite a powerful start to breaking free of writer's block and generating new ideas if you listen to your favourite artists first before you start a songwriting session. So that's tip number 1, and that was listen to your favourite musicians and your favourite songs before you start a writing session. Okay, so tip number 2 to generate song ideas is think of a title first. You've sat down and you've listened to a few of your favourite artists, you've been listening to some songs and stuff, you're inspired, but then you get to that page and it's still like the same, you can't seem to write anything. So I think one of the best ways to start a song, like I said, this works for me personally, is to think of a title and then to write a title off that. I've spoken about this before in a previous video, 5 tips for beginner songwriters, which should be listed up here somewhere. But like I said, I just think it's such a good way to start off. Like I said, I keep pages and pages in my notebooks full of titles, which means then when I get to a song that I don't explicitly have a topic that I particularly want to write about, I can run through the list of titles that I've got and I can choose one that's speaking to me in that moment. So yeah, I think it's a really good thing to do, and if you're not able to sort of easily think of titles, then you can go on the internet and you can find titles. There's loads and loads of websites that do 10 songwriting titles or that sort of thing. Or as well, you can also look in random playlists that you've either got or that you just look up, because titles are not copyrighted, so you're not going to be infringing on someone else's copyright by using a title from a playlist from another person. And I think that if you can find sort of a title that is speaking to you in that moment as you're looking down and trying to find one, then I think it can kickstart a really good song. So like I said, that's why it's one of my favourite ways to start off a song, and hopefully it can help you to generate some really good ideas. So that was tip number 2, and that was think of a title first. Okay, so tip number 3 for generating song ideas is to invent a character and write from their perspective. This is another one of my favourite ways to break out of a rut and to generate really good ideas, because if you can't or don't want to use an emotion that you're feeling, or you're not really feeling anything much, then you can sort of think of someone else who can take the fall for that emotion. And sort of when you invent a character to do that, you can invent a situation for them to be in, and I think that's one of the most powerful things that you can do, because then you can write anything about that situation. So for example, one of the singles that I've released called Flickering Light, which you can probably find over there somewhere, it's about a couple who've had a massive fallout and sort of their relationship is falling apart, but still, in spite of everything and sort of underneath it all, they still love each other. Now that isn't about me, but it was about a couple of characters who I created, and I sort of did like a half page of notes about my characters before I started writing the song, so that I knew how my characters would react in the lyrics that I was going to write. It probably sounds like a bit of a funny way to do it, and I think you need to practice a couple of times to actually get one of these right, but when you do it, it can be a really, really interesting and different way of writing a song rather than just focusing on your own emotions. Again, in my beginner songwriting video, I said it's good to be able to write both from your own perspective and from the perspective of someone else, and I think this tip here about inventing a character really helps with that. That's tip 3. So invent a character and then write your song from their perspective. Okay, so tip 4 of generating song ideas is to write about a specific emotion. So this links to my previous tip about creating your own characters. Basically with this tip, you just sort of choose an emotion and then you just write about it. So it could be anything from anger or jealousy to love and happiness, which I suppose is a bit ambiguous really. But I think with this it is actually good to be specific. So, you know, happiness probably isn't the best emotion to write about. It's really good though to be specific with this point, because I think it better informs you then about the topic, and it just means that you can think of things a bit different to the songs that are out there today, which, you know, is really something you want to be, because it gives you more chance of your song doing well if you're a bit different. And I think it's good if you can think of a specific emotion, because then you can create a feeling, or you can create a situation which you can recall and which you can write about. And again, it kind of links into my last tip, but like I said, I think it's a really good thing to do that, to think of a specific emotion and then to write about that. So yeah, that's tip number 4, and that is write about a specific emotion. Okay, so tip number 5 of generating song ideas, and this is free writing. Now, there's probably loads and loads of videos and articles on this subject, but free writing is basically where, if you really can't think of something, then sit down, set a timer on your phone or, you know, watch or whatever, and just start writing whatever comes into your head. Normally I suggest about 10 minutes to do for when you're first starting, but as you get better at it you can maybe do 15 minutes, but I think 10 minutes is kind of a good place to start. And the whole idea of free writing is that you just write whatever comes into your head, and the most important thing is that you don't filter it. You write down every single thing that you think of. Obviously you try and keep it vaguely around songwriting or around emotion or whatever you're trying to do, rather than sort of going on to random off-topic stuff. But the whole idea is that you write it down, and even if it's rubbish, you write it down, because when you then come back through it, you know, in a couple of hours or whenever it will be, you're just sort of looking for the one thing that's going to inspire the start of a song. And if you don't write everything down, you do filter what you're saying, you're going to have less of a chance to capture the potential spark of inspiration that comes while you are free writing. So that is tip number 5, and that is free writing. So that's 5 tips down, but I also wanted to give you a bit of a bonus tip, which I think underpins absolutely everything on this list. So you need to be writing ideally every day, or if not then, at least once every couple of days. You know, you need to get a good songwriting session in every couple of days. And if you're serious about your songwriting, then you need to be doing this, because like I said, if you're not putting these ideas and these methods into practice, you know, and anything else you find on other YouTube videos or websites or whatever, you're not going to be able to write good songs. You're not going to be getting better, because you're not actually going to be putting any of this into practice. So it's really, really important that you're writing, if not every day, once every couple of days. Now, I know that people have different schedules and different amounts of time that they can dedicate to it. Yeah, I'm aware of that. But honestly, the quicker that you can get into the headspace to write, the better your songs will be, and the faster you're going to be writing them. And the only way you're going to do that is by going through the process, and by writing loads of songs, by overcoming your writer's block every now and again when you need to. The more you do it, the better you'll get at going past it, and the better you'll get at writing songs, and the faster you'll get at writing songs. To use a very low-tech example, it's like a door. If you oil it, it'll swing smoothly, but if you don't, it'll squeak and it won't swing quite as easily. I use that example because our back door at the moment needs oiling. But I think that writing every day, or you know, at least once every couple of days, is like the oil for your brain when it comes to songwriting. It lubricates the parts that need to work, and it helps ideas, and it helps songs to flow more easily. So I think if you want to be generating good song ideas, and you want to be writing good songs, you need to be writing, if not every day, once every couple of days. You need to have a good songwriting session once every couple of days, and I think that will really help. So that's the bonus tip. That is, write every day, if you can. Okay, so thank you for sticking to the end of that. These were my top 6 ways, I suppose, of generating song ideas. Again, this is what works for me, and you may not find it works for you, but do your research, find some more ways of doing it, and then just sit down and write songs, and keep going through the process, and I'm sure you'll be writing really good songs very soon. So, if you have any ways that you found work for you, put them in a comment below so that I and other people in the comments can learn, and hopefully we can all be writing better songs. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to like it and even consider subscribing and clicking on the bell icon so you can be notified when I upload my weekly ramblings related to songwriting and music production. If you've got any questions or you've got any observations, then please leave them below in the comments section and I'll make sure that I get back to you. Finally, if you're into indie folk music, then feel free to check out the songs that I have self-produced and written and released on Spotify, and also to follow me on Instagram because that's where I tend to post most of my songwriting day-to-day bits and pieces when I'm not posting videos on YouTube. The links to both of those are in the description below this video. So, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.